Hello. Hello. Right, so here we are. Trainz building stream. 3,000 people at the bus stop. What an interesting message I bust through. Okay. Alright, Mr. Six-Sided Dice and friends. In order to get back in time for the MVR, I'll have to get going now. I will see you in just under an hour. Well, just under an hour. Sure. It was technically a few seconds under an hour, because now it was an hour ago. Ciao. Crashing noise on trains. Pix. Yes, yes, I can go read that, yes. Okay. Room's bath. Thank you. Someone mentioned the orange trains in Scotland, which were local to me. I remember you were saying about that. Hello. Yes, starting very soon. Yes, slightly, yes. 1 minute. Yes, okay, that's good. Hello, favorite musical conductor Paradise. I mean, that's really for not for me to confirm nor deny. Further down, it was technically exactly an hour, actually. Oh, exactly 60 minutes. How are you? Well, I didn't know that at the time. Well, accidental correctness is arguably one of the best kinds of correctness. Right, so last time we built lots of these intersections going back this way, all the way up to there, and then all the stuff back there, put in all of these buildings, downloaded some more, and talked a lot about other things while I was trying very hard to not get too distracted. What I want to do today is fill in the gaps, well, this gap here, a little bit of this gap here, and then put a couple buildings at the end of these intersections, and then probably get started. I don't know if I want the museum right here next to the station, or if I want the museum a little bit further down, like where it is here. And so that the station isn't directly beside it, because I do quite like the idea of it transitioning to this more wider, greener road first, and then eventually getting to the museum. So I'll probably leave the museum back there. So yeah, that's the plan for now. Elisa, hello. Coco, or Choco. Right, so let's get started. With what I just said, basically. So first things first, filling in this gap. I need buildings that are roughly this height, because over here we've got a little bit of a, like height-wise, a little bit of a wave going down, and then we've got the wave going up. Then from here it's going down again to the height of these buildings over here. So now I need some taller buildings filling in this bit. Let's have a look at the two city office buildings and see if maybe we've got some that might fit. Actually, I want to have a quick look at Tomb City, because there might be some other buildings as well. So, Tomb City. Tomb City House. Not just Tomb City Building, but Tomb City House. Ooh, there are a lot of these. These could be interesting. I don't necessarily want to download all of these, because they might be quite large. Actually, hold on. I need filter and not, and then obsolete. So, actually no, these are actually this many buildings, this many houses. Interesting. Maybe I can use some of these. I'll download a select few of these. Okay, let's quickly. Oh, that doesn't work as a keyboard shortcut. Actually, is that switched over correctly? Oh, that's. I didn't mean for that to be still on that. That needs to go onto the headphones. Right, so I'll download this one. just to try out, even though this one may not look the best with a 3D effect, but we'll see. Okay, so tomb house. How tall is this? Actually, that doesn't look too bad, height-wise. I'm going to download a couple more. I'm going to download that one, that one, that one. We have to have the pink one. One with the fire escape. I'll get this one and that one. This one. That one. And these ones. That one with the ad on it. That one with the ad on it. Ah, these ones with the ads, of course. I'll download these for now. Right. Who's Who's looking forward to Switzerland's SES rework? Oh, I didn't realize that Switzerland was taking over the company. I think that the old company did a pretty good job. I don't really see a reason to replace them myself. Right. So let's have a look. Pink house? Ooh, pink house with shop. What? Flooring center. Maybe not here. This one? Drink? Oh, drink Coca-Cola. I don't know. Oh wait, it's got something different on the other side. Jim Beam, black. Finest bourbon. Let's have a look. Made by cows? Oh, cheese, I see. Alcohol. Ah, look, Turbo Trainz. A Turbo Trainz ad and a Train Simulator 12 ad. I mean, I would, but that isn't period appropriate. Electrical supplies. The electrical supplies might be able to fit somewhere. Although I don't... Maybe over here, because this is a little bit lower. So if we do have like a... If we do have the taxi depot over here, then maybe this would be a good building to have adjacent to that with the electrical ad. Other way around, huh? Tomb City. I feel like Paradise has everything downloaded from DLS. I mean, no. There are too many things for that. Velosport bicycles. Does not look like a bicycle. That looks even less like a bicycle. Let's have a look. Ah, this is more what I was looking for. Yeah, because I think that this fits much better color-wise over here. Plus, I like the fact that it's got a fire escape on the side. So, hold on. I think if I just align this like so, and then add another little bit of sidewalk from there to there. That down. There we go. What does that have? Something in reverse. Rec. Oh, records. I mean, this is nice, but a little too low. Oh, that one's quite good. What does this look like from the other side? Ah, it's got the ladder on both sides. Not sure if I want that or not. I don't know. I'll place that back there for future reference. The big pink one. Yeah, we've got to have the big pink one. This one would fit quite nicely. Although I'd have to move it down significantly. That doesn't look quite right. But it didn't look quite right otherwise either. Ah, this one, maybe. And then perhaps just another one of these, but just moved in, clipping through like so. To create the illusion of a little bit of a longer house there. Although that really, that shouldn't have that little lip there, really. That's better. How does that look over here? If we imagine we're coming from over here, coming up this way. Yeah, I think that looks quite good. Especially when you consider that there'll probably be like trees and bushes and stuff like that. Like for example, over here that you'd have a few trees along here, like that ish, and then a few bushes over here, or stuff like that. Well, that looks like it's probably a little close. Although maybe that might work. Reaching over the side a little bit. Is that a bit too much? If you look down that way. Might be a little bit too much. Maybe if I get rid of these two trees, so it's just a little bit of greenery here. Maybe add one tree like there. Yeah, that I do quite like. And then of course we'd have bushes along here as well. Right. Fun fact, the overwhelming majority of assets installed here are actually ones I've downloaded, as Paradise is using my machine currently. True. I realized that transport companies are not for me. So that's Elisa speaking. I mean, I don't know. Have you ever tried owning one? How about Carol? She's a mimer? Oh, I see. Oh, right. Does she like transport companies? Paradise's computer is unfortunately still not recovered. Fire escape is just a texture, not on the model, but true, but it's really not that obvious. If you're driving along here, especially if you've got like trees or bushes along here. I think it's good enough. You know how ambulances often have the ambulance text mirrored on the front? Might be funny if in a cartoon or something the hospital text on the hospital was mirrored too. True. I've been working on a fictional line called Eagle Lake and Southern, which I'm saving up for some JR Norfolk Southern trains. Ooh. Sounds lovely. Are you planning, so when the line gets finished, are you planning on sharing that publicly, or is that only a private, personal project? Also, yes, this building, even though it's got the roundness to it, I think just using the flat aspect of it fits really well there. Even though, well, you do kind of see over the top there, but I think that could work still. Especially if I create a little bit more of a gap. like so that if you look back there, it looks like there is actually a passageway through into some sort of plaza or something behind. Nice. Well, gotta go. Bye-bye, good night, yes. Private project. Ah, right, that's okay then. Because all of the projects I work on are ones that I want to share either on the DLS or through the TCCP, whenever someone says about using stuff from JR, like that's from their website or something like that, I'm always like, oh, that looks so good. That's gonna be so high quality. Ah, but I can't use it because I want to share it. But yeah, if it's just a private project, then that's great. I'm happy for you. You were the one who wasn't on Discord, correct? I know that Albastro wasn't for a while, but you weren't on Discord either, if I recall correctly. Because I seem to remember asking whether you wanted to share some screenshots of your route on Discord, and then you weren't able to do so because... yeah. I like the roundness of it a lot, yes. Plaza, back alley... yeah, I am cold. Oh well, you should put on something sound cancelling and warm. Connect that. Then I can cut this into little bits. Well, large bits. Ring, 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 meet you, hurry up. No, we've still got like almost 2 days. Yeah, I need to put another spline point in this one and the vertex. Oh wait, wrong day, sorry. Oh yeah, but I have many plans for Minecraft, many plans. Shadow Dice. Oh yeah, I missed that because the other message was new. Shadow Dice, yeah, same here. For example, I saw that there's a new BR Class 42 warship for Trainz. Again, it looks amazing, but payware. Yep. I mean, it makes sense. If you're going to put all of the time and effort into making something like a train like that you want to earn some amount of money back from it. But still, because I have, last year, before my computer broke, I had started working on my own train for Trainz, which I got... There were some technical issues because I didn't understand how things were connected because error messages weren't helpful. But those were solved, and I did actually get pretty far. I got to... So I made the basic model. I managed to unwrap it correctly. I managed to get the engine specs for it working, although I just used another engine spec asset, including another sound asset as well on the DLS. That's already on the DLS, I'm just referencing it. I'm not modifying it in any way. I got the lights to finally work. And... oh yes, I also got the product loads to actually appear inside the train, which I was quite happy about. So I didn't put all of the spots for the product loads in place yet on it, but after that, after I would have done that, then it would have been time to animate the the openings on the door when it's loading or unloading. Oh, yeah, so they're opening the doors. It's loading, unloading. See how I get on with that, which I don't think would be that difficult, because there is a tutorial on YouTube that I found that went through it a bit. And then after that, it would just be a question of improving, improving the model a bit, improving the textures of it. And I do also want to make a custom cab interior for it, although I don't necessarily want to completely animate that. It would be good to have an animated speed gauge, because then you'd be able to run sessions without HUD, like a no HUD challenge type of thing. But I have no idea how that would work yet. I do know roughly how to make the interior model, because it's basically just an attachment point, like most of the other stuff, like the lens flares and the lights and stuff like that. And the way I'm planning on doing it is to have the origin the same as the train for both, so that it's automatically lined up correctly. But then other projects kind of got in the way, and do I like that lined up that way? Or would I prefer that to be behind it a bit, maybe? Like so. Actually, yes, I prefer that, I think. Although it should be a little bit higher up. Actually, no, I don't like it that way around. But yeah, so, and that train I'm making, that will definitely go on the DLS, and you will have automatic permission to reskin it as long as you give proper credit for the original model. Basically, it will be content creator friendly, essentially. But yeah, I can definitely see that if you're putting in all that time, you'd want to be paid for it. Would it be trickier, getting door animations to work or getting the levers in the cab to animate? I would probably guess the levers. Because with the levers, like, it goes in steps, maybe? And I don't know how that works, or even how to begin with that. Whereas with the doors, it's just an animation called something, a specific name, that has to be included with the export, I believe. And then, well, it already works, I think, like that. Yeah, that looks quite good back there. Even though I will have to add a little bit more sidewalk there. Also, how would you script the combined throttle brake? Would you just fictionalize so that it's two levers? What do you mean combined throttle brake? How would you even know if my train even has a combined throttle brake? Okay. a combined throttle brake. So it's one handle that controls the throttle if you move it in one direction, well actually in one direction, and if you move it in the other direction past the middle point, it applies the brakes. So you don't have two separate levers for it, or levers. Thanks, that means I'll be able to fictionally repaint it for Southwest Trains. You want to repaint Nesty 70-9.5837 Mark 2.5 in Southwest Trains livery? Ridiculous. Yes, if it has one, I mean. If it has one, then if I'm going to animate the levers, then I can't have it be a combined thing, I don't think. Because what if you have the throttle on and you've got the brake on, which you can do in Trainz because of how it works? What would happen then? If I wouldn't animate the levers, then it doesn't matter what it moves. Like I can just have it how it would be more realistic. Put the SD70-9 whatever in this livery. That would be funny. Well, is that in temp locked? No. Oh, that's in the session layer. It's not supposed to be in the session layer. I wonder why the session layer was even unlocked in the first place. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with OpenTTD. Kango, now that you've had another proper play, another beginning of a proper game of OpenTTD, can you see? Actually, is this still on the? Okay. This won't go over because. Yeah, some stuff is in the wrong layer. Hold on. What was the... If I just put it in the root layer again, what were the errors? Yeah, can you see now how that game could be really very enjoyable when you get better at it? The edit would place this hopper, blah blah blah. In an invalid layer with respect to parent track. But what is the layer in respect to parent track? It doesn't tell me what the layer is, it just tells me that... I guess it would have to be temp locked. Okay, well in that case, I'm just gonna merge temp locked because it's only temporary anyway. I bust through. Also, have you ever played Human Fall Flat, and or do you intend to? I can, yeah, sure does. Though I still lack many experiences with it. I mean, yeah, but I do think that now that you're giving it a proper chance, I do think that you're going to continue to enjoy it. I have not, no. As for intending to, I'm not sure. Okay, now that that's done, let's try merging this one with root. Alright, well, have you played other 3D platformers? Guys, ever seen Lego UK Trainz? Not that I recall. Have you? Unfortunately not. In response to 3D platformers. Wait, parent track not found for trackside object, cement hop, XVG, something, cement hopper. Interesting. This is not very easily readable. The Lego trains are very detailed. Oh, do you have some pictures you could reference in chat that you could link to? There we go, that finally worked. Now let's save. Now let's lock that, go over here. Oh, and it deleted the temp, hold on. I need to recreate the temp lock layer because it deleted it since it was empty, which is unfortunate. Hold up. Yeah? I mean, how would you know if I'm holding something up? Like, I could just move my shoulders like that, and it looks like I might be holding something up, when in reality my hands are just resting on the desk. Or maybe I was holding something up, who knows? Maybe I was holding you up. Give me your money. Almost done. There we go. Lock that. Now go over here. Actually, I need to save again. There we go. Now, please, let me move this. Yes, there we go. Probably to about there. Well, there. Is this road too narrow? Actually, no. From this point of view, it does actually line up pretty well. Pretty well. Okay, now I'll just create a straight piece along here. Also, Kango, or anybody else in chat, without looking it up, try to name a creature from Australian mythology. No, platypus doesn't count, that actually exists. I'll read chat in a bit. Okay, now I'll need to get this over here. Right. Well, generally, with 3D platformers, the controls are usually rather stiff. You hold down forward and the character walks forward at a steady pace, needing no time to accelerate. You let go, the character stops. With Human Fall Flat, it's basically that, but with floppy floopy ragdoll physics. And the characters do need some time to accelerate and brake. Ah, there's a link. Let me have a look at that. LukeRailway.com. Oh, I see. Ah, right. I was thinking like larger scale, where the trains were built out of normal Lego bricks. Ooh, a Southern Railways locomotive. Let's have a look. Steam locomotives. Ah. Although the buffer beam, I wonder if that is a custom part along with the smoke box door or things like that. Oh, actually there are more down there. Ooh. Rocket. That is definitely blue. Oh, a Q1. I always like the Q1s. Metropolitan Railway one. Ah, and of course Thomas ones. Oh, even Ivor the engine. But yeah, like for example here, like, although maybe, I guess those aren't really, I guess those are just normal parts. I want to have a quick look at diesel electric. I mean, yeah, those do look really, really very nice. Also, I like that it looks like this is running on a big layout here. Also, I suppose those are normal scale bricks. If that's like, yeah. Huh. I guess it just looked smaller scale. Very nice. Let's just have a quick look at narrow gauge as well. One moment. Aww. I wonder if they've got Lilla in here as well. Very nice. I've kind of slid down my chair a bit. Now just scroll, eventually find the trains. And as you saw that one Wednesday with left mouse and right mouse, when you can extend your left and right arms while held down, your hands become sticky. Not stinky, but sticky. Well, your character sounds Mr. W, as the Australian mythological creature. Good guess, good guess. Uluru Siane Kek. Well, I know Uluru is the rock, but what is Siane Kek? Is that a real thing? Hold on. Or, well, a real mythological creature. Well, Uluru is the rock, of course. But I can't seem to find this. I'm thinking you might have made that up. I do have, so the one that I would suggest is the bunyip. Have a look there. The bunyip is a creature from the Aboriginal mythology of southeastern Australia. There you go, bunyip. You've got different looking creatures there on some of these illustrations, but there you go. Forgot the name of it, but it's a different version of Bigfoot. Yeah, I think I know what you mean, but I'm not sure which one. Southern, look, that's SR though, not Southern. Yeah, well, you've got Southern, which is the Southern Railway, then you've got Southern Railway, and they've got the other Southern Railway from the US. Which, yes, did take the name because of the prestige of the original United Kingdom one. Shh, don't ruin the magic. Shard Ice. I think the SR bullied smoke box door is just a dish-shaped part, but painted over with a sticker. Hello, Mr. Snipes. Welcome. Glow. The Ukuk? I don't know. Don't know any, so I just go ahead. Mythology is always made up. Well, not always. Once upon a time, people thought that the platypus or the okapi were mythological creatures, as well as gorillas, actually. Because I think until the 1920s or something like that, if I recall correctly, double check that. I think until the 1920s, people in the West thought that gorillas were made up. Just, yeah. If I recall correctly, until either some were photographed or brought back alive. But yeah, like ridiculously late. But okay, let's have a look. The Wikipedia page should probably say. The American first described the Western gorilla in 1847. Specimens obtained from Liberia, sorry. But I don't think. Hold on. I know that's when it described, but I'm not sure that that was when it was, like, widely seen as actually existing. Hold on. Scientific study. The first systematic study was not... the first... Oh, okay. So, apparently, the first scientific description of gorillas dates back to an article by Savage and the naturalist Jeffries Wyman in 1847. Still quite late if you consider that the history of how long humans have been around, including in civilization, where gorilla is described, now known as Western gorilla. The explorer Paul du Chaillu, I have no idea how to pronounce it, sorry, was the first Westerner to see a live gorilla during his travel through Western Equatorial Africa in the 1850s. He brought dead specimen to the UK in 1861. The first scientific study was not concluded until the 1920s, when Carl Ackley, blah blah blah, traveled to hunt for an animal to be shot and stuffed on his first trip in blah blah blah. Okay, so yeah, that's probably the thing I remembered, where the first the first systematic study was not conducted until the 1920s. And I think that I read in some articles that it was widely believed that whatever evidence had been produced before this point was just a hoax, or that was just a mythological creature. I don't know, I can't produce these articles, at least not without a lot of research. But I believe that that is where I got the 1920s number from. I know chat is building up, but I want to actually build stuff here as well. And I just spent quite a bit of time on something that wasn't completely necessary. And if you believe that, then, well, you haven't watched these streams often enough, because these sorts of things where I get distracted by something that's completely unrelated is in fact still completely necessary. And this needs the thicker lines on here. And then along here. Although actually these ones I probably don't have to put on, because you're not really going to see around the corner here in this specific particular place. But now I've already put them in, so, well, there we go. Let me just quickly double check something. Okay. Right, I guess I do need to catch up, otherwise that'll take way too long to get to. Yes. Oh, Bunyip. Out of those. From the YouTube, the Tasmanian Tiger series, the big mech robot suits were called that. Oh? I had no idea. But I didn't realize that it's an actual creature from mythology. Sure is, and their southern vectors. Yeah, let's go. So USA. Wait, so bunyips did exist? No, bunyips did not, as far as I know. Wait, gorillas are real? Next, they'll be telling us unicorns are fake. I mean, in medieval Europe, people did believe that unicorns were real animals, just like horses or hippopotamus or whatever. Which is why you can find them in some of the medieval bestiaries that were made, just among normal animals that do exist. Gorilla. The stupidest person I have ever met believed that people used to wear mirrors as earrings to see behind them. Do you mean like the only way I can see that working is like if you imagine a little rod, and on one side you've got the mirror, and on the other side you've got a counterweight, and then you've got a little hook that's directly in the middle on the center of mass, so it's balanced, and that's where you attach it as an earring, so that you've got this counterbalanced thing hanging from your ear with the mirror on one side, so it's actually in front of your face so you can look behind you. But then of course it would pivot, so you'd need a little bit of string to connect the left and right ones in the front and back, so that it wouldn't pivot around too much. But that would be an awful lot of weight on your ears, which isn't great, probably. At that point, you're better just having it attached to like a collar, or maybe even a headband probably would be even simpler. Having like a headband with the metal going out with the mirrors on either side. Or you could just have it in like sunglasses as the classic thing. Like big wing mirrors. Hello. To be fair though, there are sunglasses with built-in mirror stripes on the outsides of the glass. Yes! Either side. Which act as rear view mirrors. True. I can't remember the exact context that led to the person making the comment she believed, but it was quite clear in the moment that it was a joke, and she responded with, "Wait, did they actually?" It was something to do with Shakespearean times. Ah, okay. Alright, so sad. Dead specimen brought to the UK. True, but those were those days. That's the stream title, yes. Shadowdice, what do you think of TTTE? Well, okay, now that you bring okay, I'm going to start building a little bit while I actually, tell you what, no. Let me, hold on, I'll quickly boot up the time machine, and then I'll give my explanation. Oh, well, I'll tell you what I think about it, and then we'll use the time machine to go back in time so that we don't actually lose all of the time building. So, hold on 1 second. That's almost there. So there we go. Actually, hold on, I need to put in the correct number. There we go, okay. And then just go there, and there we go. Time machine is working. Okay, so Thomas the Tank Engine. I do actually quite like the original series, because in those original series it still has a lot of charm and so much character, and it feels like an actual railway. But then as the stories just get reused and get into that three strikes format and stuff like that, it really loses a lot of we get into things like Big World, Big Adventures, and that, I mean, that's a whole nother thing, where they had so much potential there, but they're trying to market it to the audiences of those countries, and yet they only use the stereotypes of those countries and don't even go into any of the actual real-life railway history of it, which... Why? This is such a rich history of railway stuff on all these countries, but they just don't go into it. Well, and then of course you've got All Engines Go, but I haven't watched that, and from what I know about it, I don't want to. Right, so now that you know that, I think... Oh, I overshot it a little bit. Or undershot it, sorry. It looks like a couple minutes of explanations are still going to be on the stream in the archive. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'll have to configure the time machine a little bit better next time. I hope that explains it. There we go. Just joking. And what about Project Tiger Moth? Yeah, mostly good, although I would improve a few tiny details with it. But yeah, it was great. I thought it was great. But yeah, Shardez, YouTube, the Tasmanian Tiger, not TY. Or YT, of course. Sorry. TY, not YT, yes. I said, wait, so bunyips did exist? Because people... Yes, okay, yeah. Headband with Coach Maris attached. Use our Jane Adventure theme. XD. Stream ended on time, look at that. Sitcom laughter and screams. TY. I know what you mean. Does this building actually look good here that I had placed previously? I mean, not back here, no. But I think it might look good over here. Like when because I do think that I will have another intersection here, and I think that back there, I think, would look quite good, because now we are getting into the more high density stuff. Tie. Oh, of course, yeah. Right, actually, so what? It needs to be something... Maybe I'm just going to use another one of these sandstone-looking buildings. Not that one, of course. Needs to be a fairly tall one. Maybe this. Yeah, that works. That works. So tomorrow and from now on, the stream will begin at 22 instead. Well, tomorrow, I do think that yes, I do think I will start at 10 UTC PM. I will have to update the schedule page as well. Maybe some of these shops could look good over here as an end piece as well. Although, not sure if it... Although height-wise, yeah, that fits quite nicely, I think. Though maybe if I cut off the leftmost one, just so that it's a little bit taller. But it's mostly so you can look through there and you can see something. Although maybe just using another one of these office buildings. Maybe like that. Okay, and then one more over here. That one, sure. Although that one is a little bit too low, perhaps. Maybe if I reverse the positioning. If I reverse the polarity of the neutron flow, maybe that'll fix it. Yeah, that's just a little bit too low. Bye-bye, Mick is cool. Thanks for showing up. Maybe just this. Yeah, I think that might look good, but lower it down to the ground a bit. So it's like that. So you can actually still see the other building behind it. Yeah, I think that'll work. And looking the other way. Just remember, you've got to look both ways. Yeah, that'll good, except I need something taller here because there are a lot of low buildings there. And I need something that you're going to be able to see through here. Maybe just another one of these. Ooh, actually, maybe I can use the pink one, this one. And raise that up a bit. Just like that. Needs to be... Yeah, it needs to be a little bit further to the right. About there. Yeah, so now as you're coming this way, you can actually see that there is a building there, in fact. Although that is a little bit too low, so I think I'm going to add another one and have it be rotated a little bit like that, and then increase the height, like so. Although maybe rotate it the other way around. There we go. I think that looks quite decently good. Maybe that's a little too tall. I'll decrease the height by 2 meters. Yeah, that looks better. Good, now you can't see back there at all. It's all good. Next is this one. Chapter 7. Getting into the morgue. Yeah, I like a little shop, you know, to shop. Yeah, I like a little shop, you know, to shop. Yeah, that was from the New York episode, I think. I don't know how many news there were in that. I think it might have been called New Earth or something like that. And actually I think this building fits really nice back there. Adding a little bit of red and pink, I think really works. Also, this is a little bit too long, so it will have to be trimmed. Much like what some really mean people say in some schools. And by that, I mean people who do a job which I don't agree with, necessarily. But let's not get into that. So let's connect this instead, straighten that, and of course also straighten this. 10th Doctor, yes. Yeah, New York. Yeah, New Earth. Oh, was it? Yes. The Doctor and Rose arrive on New Earth and meet old friends and enemies in a hospital which can cure every disease, but the cures come at a terrible cost. Also, fun fact, even though that in the image is the body of Rose, that isn't actually the consciousness of Rose in that scene. I must test out some VR sim racing equipment. Farewell. Well, I do hope you'll survive. I mean, and if you think you might not, I hope that they are paying you exceedingly well to... Like, why would you otherwise even consider testing something that you think might actually kill you like that? Yeah, I hope you'll survive too. Bye then. That's... so... Can go. Yeah, I hope you'll survive too. Bye then. The excitement factor No, the excitement factor. No, it is too much. Much too much. XD. But yeah, I do have many plans for Monday, what I want to do in Minecraft. Many. And one of the steps may indeed be profit. Not profit, but profit. Captain, the excitement is reaching critical levels. If it goes one notch higher, we will have to eject the warp core. Alright, sorry. In that case, it would have probably been Belana's voice saying that, because Voyager were the ones who ejected the warp core quite frequently, if I recall correctly. Completely forgetting that the designers who designed the ship, like the real-life blueprints of the fictional ship, actually put in a secondary warp core. Yes. Hold on, 1 second. Yeah, so if you like look at the Master Systems display of Voyager, I don't know if this is... if any of these are the official ones, but I know that it's on the official one as well. You can see... actually, yeah. You can see you've got the warp core here. You can see the warp reactor core is this thing there. The vertical shaft there. And then a little bit further over, look at that. There's another warp core just behind the deflector dish. Isn't that handy? 2 computer cores as well, a secondary one in case the first one gets brought offline, so you've still got computer stuff. You even got a secondary deflector in the saucer, again, handy. You've even got a glider down here, which you can actually see in the model as well. You can see the shape of the glider, like or captain's yacht or whatever it is. The airflow shuttle, it's called on this map. And if you look at some other ones, at some other Master Systems displays, you can see they've all got a secondary warp core. How handy is that? If something's wrong with the warp core, or maybe you need to collapse a subspace quantum slipstream corridor behind you because the Borg are chasing you, and you can only do it by detonating a warp core, well, you've got a spare. Congratulations. Yeah, they never, ever, ever used that in the show, because the warp core having to be ejected is of course a big dramatic thing, and now the ship's disabled, oh no, what will we do? And if anybody remembered that you have a backup, or a spare, as it were, well, that wouldn't be very dramatic, would it? It's like, can you imagine that? I mean, although that sounds like something from Lower Decks, doesn't it? Where it's like this dramatic scene that says we have to eject the core, because that was a thing that one guy wanted to do, and it's like, but no, we can't do that. We'll be stranded. We'll be helpless. We can't do that. And it's like, actually, Captain, we've got a spare. Yeah, we can. We're fine. Yeah, we can just get another one at Starbase. It'll be fine. Right. I have the same plan as always for Minecraft. Harass the players. I mean, it's worked so far. Wait, does this need... Okay, that doesn't need... Okay, that's fine. Sure, nice. And I have many plans for Monday too. Plans involving reading chat. True. Although Kango, on Friday, when you did get into a little bit of the mods, like making the Philosopher's Stone, or a little bit in Pam's Harvest Craft, and gathering resources for the coke oven, Did you enjoy that? Also, I think I will just add another one of these, just merged in slightly there, just to fill out the gap as best as possible. Yeah, just like, oh, well, I don't like that, that's crooked, hold on. That looks better. Although, actually, I think I'll place a tree back there that's just ever so slightly overhanging. I think that'll be quite nice. So if I put a tree like there, then if you're looking back that way, you can see a little bit more detail. Or maybe not that tree, maybe one that's... Hold on, 1 second. Maybe this one, that's a little bit more airy, I suppose. But does that look good? Maybe if I move it down, like it's more of a bush thing. Yes, that actually does look quite good, I think. Maybe? I don't know, let's quickly... Actually, no. I think I'm just going to leave it like this, because you couldn't really see it enough, and it was a little distracting. I don't want to draw that much attention back there. Shardice. Alright. Where did they keep getting new ones? What do you mean, warp cores? Well, they had to go back and get the one that they ejected every time, at least as far as I remember. Also, didn't they try to pull Voyager with shuttles at one point? I know, and I don't mean the quantum slipstream time travel episode, I mean just generally speaking. Also, yes, I'm looking for these shops. Might be able to use... Because this is... I want to use that corner asset there. Maybe having this one street a little bit lower might add a bit more variation. Even though it might not be that realistic. I suppose we'll see what it looks like as we build around it. And if it doesn't work, then I can always replace it. Maybe a little bit more of this over here. And maybe merge that in like that. Or maybe the other side. I think this side is the one I want. Yes. Doesn't look too bad. And then maybe having a bit of a kind of back alley loading area, whatever, there. And then getting rid of a little bit of the sidewalk here. A little bit of that as well. Just because it's right by the tracks. There we go. And then do I like the kind of U shape of this? Actually, that might not look too bad. Maybe if I add a little row of trees. Yes, like these ones. Maybe just along here. Just like so. Maybe, actually, are these all? Wait a minute. Is random rotation on? Yes, it is. It's just these ones are all rotated the same way randomly. Also, if I just quickly change the height of some of these. Not that much, but maybe just like that. And then maybe a bit of cobblestone back there, just for a little bit of variation. Filling this in. I know you might realistically, you might not have this many kind of plaza areas, but it adds nice variation when you're driving to look at. And I think that that is more important. Slightly more important, but still a bit more important. And a little bit of this along here. Okay, and then I'll quickly get a little bit of the grass climb. And I can just reuse the height I used over there. Let's actually save first. Should this Balana impression go? No. Well, mainly because Balana mostly just talks in a normal... by normal, I mean... Oh! Hold on, there was a sound. What was that sound for? I don't actually know. Sorry. It didn't show up on... Nothing showed up on stream. But yeah, mostly because Balana just talks with a generic American accent. Oh, Bin Man, hello, welcome. Would you like me to place a bin for you? I'll do it if you dare me. Well, actually, no. I'll do it because I want to, not because of a dare. There we go. Dustbin. Placed there. There you go. There is your bin. And then actually, hold on. There's the man. Bin man. Right, now back to actually reading chat and building. Captain, this ship looks mighty sleek from the outside, but what just can I fathom why the warp core got a combined power brake controller? Funny. Me, not participating. Relaxed breathing. So, what you're saying is Voyager has boring... Voyager was boring, and they needed to raise its excitement levels. Well... I think... Actually, what is this? Acro... No, I don't want to get distracted by these assets, no. Okay, I think... Voyager had a lot of potential. I mean, alone the idea of having a mixed Starfleet and Marquis crew, especially when you consider that, well, Janeway, at least sometimes, depending how she's written, is really quite a by-the-books kind of character in a lot of instances. And then having Chakotay as the first officer to bring the non-Federation, non-rule book perspective seems like that would bring so much fascinating potential for storytelling in a Star Trek show context. And then you've got like the crew being, like the chief engineer being from the Marquis ship, and the crew being mixed like that, and then having Tuvok there who was basically the spy, but then being chief of security and being placed above the others. I mean that, and then all of that without the Starfleet crew having backup in any sort of way. I mean that just, there's so much story potential there. And then, I mean that's without even going into all of the resource gathering and trading that Voyager would do on its voyage home. Like, having to scavenge for resources and figuring out political situations as they go, and having to continue to do that, and then trading for resources and all of that sort of stuff. I mean, and having to scavenge and repair their ship, and the ship slowly over time becoming more and more patchwork as they have to patch up more and more stuff that breaks without having a Federation starbase nearby, and having to use alien technology to replace Starfleet stuff, which the alien technology most likely wouldn't be as good or as advanced. And then B'Elanna really shining there, because B'Elanna, being part of the Maquis, would have had loads of experience in making all sorts of random bits of technology work together. And all of that just sounds like there's so much potential there and so much stuff they could have done and could have experimented with. But it was the flagship show, which means that everybody's eyes were at a management level were on it. And so they didn't really experiment beyond the first episode. In the pilot, there was lots of promise about this sort of thing, but then they mainly just decided to do more of TNG, which, I mean, it could be worse, because there are actually a lot of good Voyager episodes. It's just, it could have been so much more its own thing. It could have been so much more unique. So maybe I'm just going to leave a little gap there so you can see a little bit of road going back there. Since I've got to put the road, although actually do it, that's not going to line up. No, I've got to fill that. I've got to plug the gap. But what do you think, Mr. Snipes? Haha, I've reversed the tough question. Or easy question, as the case may be. Does that work? Maybe not if it's that tall. Maybe if it's lower down like that. So you can just kind of see a little bit of that corner in there. Yeah, I think that's quite a nice transition. And lowering down the height of the buildings again to putting in the taxi depot here, if I am going to do that, I think works quite nicely. And we can raise it up again here, and then raise it even more until we get it right downtown, then into where the terminus is going to be. Shardez, yes, it does. Lower Decks. It does sound like it, yeah. Such a good show. That sounds right out of that show. Also, the players? Are we talking... Aren't we your BFFs? What do you mean, players? I have the same player. Oh, right. Yeah. Kango needs a sign like student driver up, but saying villain in training instead. Shard, I did enjoy that, yeah. Maybe I should perform a deep dive into one of the mods after all. Yes, and since I'm right beside you, just reading chat most of the time, that there is chat to read, I've got plenty of time to help. If that helps. Wahahaha. Where would I put it? Round the neck? Oh, the sign. Oops. Amichu didn't show me the cats. Willis didn't answer my WYR. Mr. W ignored my greetings 3 times. Are those BFFs to you? Well, yes. If you think about it, someone who isn't your best friend, but who you are on friendly terms with, you would probably go more out of your way to you would make more of an effort to have, because you know you've got to build that relationship in the first place. But if you already know that you are best friends, then you know that not answering a message or not saying hello or something like that isn't really going to tax your relationship, or isn't going to be... There's more of a tolerance there, because you already know that there is that level. So you could make the argument that, in fact, that is an indicator, that's what I'm looking for, indicator of the BFF status actually being true. Remember, BF star F star. Besides, 1. Kango, if you write so much stuff in chat, then I'll have to read it all, and then, well, that's time I'm not building stuff. 1. Despite unpopular contrary belief, the current fleet of cats has been shown extensively in a multitude of previous live streams. 2. As unfortunate as it may be, not everyone is always able to provide any evenly meaningful answers to these questions. 3. As you weren't on VC, Mr. W couldn't hear you, and we couldn't politely manage to really read your chat messages while he was speaking. When an opportunity presented itself, he had already left. Also, he did end up greeting you back. Binman, hello, yes. Direct cat binnet. But BFFs make exceptions, no? I mean, you could say you're making an exception to make an exception. Okay, don't quote reply again, Twitch. What? I mean, yes, but that's their choice, I think. But sure it is. Yes, you should make a Star Trek Voyager rewritten. No, I should not. Because if I did that, I would have used a lot of time for it. And aside from developing my writing / world building skills a bit, only a very small portion of people would actually have any sort of benefit from it. Namely, fans of Star Trek who have a lot of time on their hands to read a rewritten version of Star Trek Voyager, and who would be interested in reading such a thing in the first place. I think I have better uses for my time. At least last time I checked. Which admittedly was a couple decades ago. But still, I think I sorry, centuries ago. But I think I still have some better uses for my time laying around somewhere. If not, I can pick some up at the store. Oh, and also, about the WYRs. Do you use this site for them and paste them in? Would you rather? Hahaha, no, I usually just look around my room. Ah. Haha, I love all of the Purple Lounge bar machine for putting up with me. Purple Lounges? There can only be one. I think you mean loungers. Why was Emmy true? Yeah, true. Good point. Because I think Emmy is the only one who, like, actually responds to that. So, like, Willis, of course, I mean, the only response Willis gives is when you post one of your would you rather questions is no, 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 or all of the above, or none of the above. And Mr. W goes along with it for a little bit, but then sometimes just gets confused, admittedly, understandably so. Kangafanga, when you read chat, you do go along with it a bit as well, but the reaction Albastro can get out of you isn't as exciting, I think, or me as well, because, well, that's just not how I react to these sorts of things. Amateur, on the other hand, tends to react quite energetically and quite interestingly in a lot of cases, and also gives a bit of that back. And so Emichu invites the back and forth in that case, or in that regard. And so I would say that is why always Emichu. Unless, Albastro, you have a different opinion on this. Yeah, true. But if you did rewrite Star Trek Voyager or Star Trek V, I think it would turn out very good. Likely even more interesting than the actual show. Well, a thing to consider is that the people writing the show were also writing Voyager. Well, they were writing Voyager and also writing Deep Space Nine, sorry. And they had all of the executive eyes on them because Voyager was the flagship show, after all. Also, what building did I want to use back here? I had one that I maybe wanted to use, I don't know. Sorry. Yeah, so flagship show, which means that they couldn't really experiment that much. Because, well, a lot was on the line, and, well, I think that's very self-explanatory. And then you had the time crunch of having to not only get a script, a script idea every week, or in time for the thing, because back then the episodes were usually, with TNG at least, I think with Voyager still, they were produced on a weekly basis. Because nowadays, of course, things tend to be produced in bigger batches and then just aired in intervals or even altogether sometimes for binging. But back then, that wasn't the case. At least with TNG, it wasn't. I think it was still not the case with Voyager, but anyway. And then, so you've got this pressure to not only find a script, but to also write it, which usually were more than one writer doing it, so having to cooperate together, and then often rewriting it, and casting it, and producing it, making the sets, making costumes, all of it, and then producing the entire thing weekly meant that they were often on such a time crunch that with all of these restraints and dangers of it being a flagship show, well, actually, I say dangerous. It being a flagship show does mean that it was guaranteed to have the seasons, but it also meant that if they experimented with something and people didn't like it, people didn't like the flagship show, which was a huge problem. Which is why they kind of stuck with what they've already tried and tested. Actually, where did this place? No, that's not what I wanted. So, it could very well be that some of the things would turn out better if I were to rewrite it, but I would be rewriting it in completely different conditions, with the added benefit of hindsight, and probably also the ability to plan ahead seasons, because back then another thing to consider was that an episodic show was what they wanted. They wanted the ability for someone to come in and watch any episode of the show and still know what's going on. They didn't want people to... Actually, maybe I can use this somewhere. They didn't want people to have seen previous episodes to get the show. That was a big thing, which they got away with circumventing a little bit in Deep Space Nine, because that has a lot more story arcs and stuff like that, but still not completely. But with Voyager, with all eyes on them, there was no way they could do that. Whereas, which is why they hit the reset button pretty much every time. If the ship were to get gradually more patchwork as it goes on, then that would mean you would have to have huge amounts of continuity, which was explicitly, well, pretty much forbidden. So I'm just placing down buildings that I might use. I'm not sure if I'm going to use these, but we'll see. Maybe if I look for garage, maybe that would be good. Although I don't want personal garages, I want more industrial type ones. Yeah, but if I were to rewrite it, then I would put in so much continuity. I would probably plan out the entire series roughly and think about, okay, in season 1 I want to be this and this and this, and then by the point we get to season 2 I want these vague things to have changed, and by season 3 this and this and this. So I've got a big overarching story, and then go into more and more detail, thinking, okay, well, I know by the end of season 1 I want to be at this point, which means I need these specific things to happen across the season, and then I'd spread them out so that it makes for good storytelling, and then go from there. So I'd probably plan out the whole thing, at least vaguely, from the beginning, and then work through the episodes knowing what I have to work towards, or what I want to work towards, which are, again, completely different conditions than what the writers had. Ha 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 ha. I love Amichu, really. They're an angel. Yeah, sure does. Partakes in the banter. Amichu's the only one who lets me mess around. Well, not the only one. Willis and Mr. W. No! And me, I don't tease you as much. True. True, the banter usually just flies into my eye and out my mouth while reading chat. But it never actually lands on me. Check a cap staging area. Oh, that looks... Well... Okay. By staging area, do you mean like where, like a depot? Do you want it to? Image source unavailable. Relaxed, joyful, concerned, sweating. Shadows, yeah, you're right, very true. Staging area, not really depot? Not sure. Wasn't really able to find a depot. Well, I quite like the looks of something like this. Maybe I'll put some more garage doors on this object out front. Actually, like warehouse doors. Maybe something like that, although wooden, I'm not sure if that would really fit too well in this context, because it might look better just being metal. And I realize that this is probably a little small for this, but I do think that it fits quite nicely into this specific area. Also, would this fit? Would this cover the window? No, it wouldn't cover the window completely. This one? No, this one's off the ground as well. This one, no, off the ground. And I know I could move it down, but if I moved it down, then it wouldn't be tall enough to cover the windows. Might have to be the wooden one. Maybe look up taxi sitcom for reference. That was the interior. They didn't show the exteriors, I believe. At least I can't remember them ever showing the exterior. Ooh, that one maybe, if I moved it down a bit. Yeah, that one's more recognizable as a door, like as a large door, although... Temp locked to the rescue! But one is true. True point. It would be nice if assets like that were all made over tall. Then you can sink it into the floor to shorten as required. True. Although I believe that those particular assets were created for, like, putting onto so that they fit with platform height, and with some platforms you can look underneath them, but yeah, it would be appreciated. Yes, these ones are some we've got. That one's too short. What about this one? JR one. Nah, that's a loading dock. That's not a... I think I'm just going to use this one. It's good enough, and good enough is good enough in this case. What height is this one at? Negative 1.35. Maybe I can get some sort of billboard. 1.35. Do I want them over on that side as well, or is 3 enough? Actually, the spacing doesn't look quite right. Hold on. Oh yeah, because that's not centered. And that means that... Actually, is that... It's actually, I should center it between the other doors, because that's the gap that you're going to see. You're not really going to pay that much attention to the texture, so like that. Right. Yeah, true. Sure, nice. Idea. Cover up all 5 of those windows on the white building, apart from the center one? No. No. I don't think so. Or maybe... Well, I can try. I don't know. It doesn't make that much sense to me like this. It would make more sense to me to have like a big hall in the middle, or grange or castle or something like that, and then have like maybe an office to the side or something like that. But just having a big piece of wall in the middle that has a window doesn't make that much architectural sense to me for this purpose. For this purpose, I mean, specifically. That seems vaguely equidistant. Right. Yeah, and that looks pretty good, I think. And then, of course, we'll need some of the taxis stored out here. I hope that this isn't going to lag too much, placing quite a few of these of this model, because it does appear to be quite high quality, or high resolution, I should say. Maybe, actually, hold on, because these ones have different skins. One second. Yeah, I'll put a green one in there, in like the workshop area like that, because I think that ooh, although, maybe I could put this one in there. Maybe that's actually a good location for it. Just hiding away in the workshop a bit. Although, is that going to be obvious enough? Yeah, if you're switching around here and you see the scene, you're gonna see it. Especially if I put the green taxi nearby. Although people might mistake that for a clue or something. There we go. That's nice. And then like a tow. Sorry, no, a tow truck. Save, yes. Honestly though, let's just say I wouldn't necessarily mind if I got to mention some of the time. Sure it is, ha 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 ha. Grange or castle? I guess I am. But walls around the taxi area? Probably wouldn't be a bad idea. At least somewhat. You now really made me want to reboot the taxi game I started again. No! I've made a terrible mistake. I'm sorry. This one's the one I wanted. That is the one I wanted. I've already got the one I wanted. Yes, reboot it. Reboot it. I wouldn't call it Mad Cabbies though. It's too similar to those. Yeah, that's brilliant. Though I like the green one idea too. Like, they've bought a taxi from a different company and haven't repainted it yet. Tow truck. Yeah, it was a terrible mistake. Yeah, I mean, rebooting Parallels to reboot Crazy Taxi again when you've got so many things that you want to work on. Also, I think I want some of the gravel texture over here. If I remember, I've used it over here. That's where. Okay. Just to kind of make the scene feel a little bit more differentiated. Do we need a little bit of this over here as well in some spots? Maybe. Yeah, although that does feel like a small amount of taxis, really. Also, I think I like the idea of having a chain link fence here. And then I'd have the entrance probably there. Derelict newspapers too? Yeah, but I don't want to put those many details around here yet because otherwise it'll lag all over the place. I mean, the industrial area already lags, at least while streaming a bit. Though, would it really be closed like that? Because if you imagine, I mean, this pretty much has to be a 24-hour service anyway. So, would you really have it be closed? Like with a gate? There might still be a gate. It would probably just be open most of the time. So I think instead of putting in the gate, I'm probably just going to create like an open driveway sort of thing, like entranceway. Ooh, that's not what I wanted. Yeah, that feels good. I'm probably going to need more taxis though. That was a little too much. So maybe if I get rid of one in the middle like that, and then maybe move these over by one. Yeah, that looks much better. I think at least. Or maybe I can move these a bit closer now that there is a fence there anyway. I quickly wanted to look through and see if there were any like billboards or advertising things. No. How so? Just search for yeah, that. And/or barrels. More taxis, yes, I agree, although maybe some may be out and about this. Have you ever played any of the Crazy Taxi games? I have not. At least I think not. Ooh, interesting. Let me just quickly have a look on the DLS. If I just search for taxi, how many items are found? Right, you may like it. I possibly played a website version of something similar, if something similar existed, but not the real thing. Not sure, I think there were unofficial 2D and 3D Java versions. There may have been a lot of stuff. Hold on, I'll actually I will very quickly look through here. Actually, I'll zoom out all the way, that might accelerate this. There we go. Just so I don't forget. Taxiway stuff. Okay, there isn't anything like that there, and we've gone past midnight. So, I mean, okay. In terms of what we've got done, not as impressively much as I had hoped. However, all the buildings on this side of the tracks up until here, where the station begins, where I need to put in another intersection anyway, are now in place, pretty much. I do still need to do a tiny little bit of texture work over here. But this section is mostly done now. Which is quite good, I think. One second. There we go. Yeah, so this area from here where the taxis are, barring a little bit of detailing, all the way along here, pretty much from this point, aside from the texture work of replacing the grid and placing down some bushes, all the way from here, all the way up to the end of the line, up past the dam, over by Crosswood Junction, has all got scenery. So yeah, tomorrow, when we continue building here, I'll put in this one intersection here, fill in this little area there, put in the textures, put in bushes and grasses, and probably do some detailing work around the station and decide on what I want to do on this side of the station. And then if there's still time, we'll extend the line further this way. We might even add the baseboards all the way to the point where the terminus is. But I'm not going to design the terminus yet, because I do want to do more research on what kind of junctions or railway junctions, track work, that's what I'm looking for. What kind of track work prototypically went into this kind of station. And I want to look at some real-world examples and old photographs and track plans and stuff like that if I can find them. But yeah, we need a thumbnail. So, guess what's going on the thumbnail? Probably. Although that's not really great for an angle. Or a Saxon for that matter. Actually, if it's got the banner at the bottom anyway for the thumbnail. Maybe something like that. Yes, I quite like the time of day as it is. Anyway, that's probably good. So with that, again chat and then we're done. More taxi, yes, sorry about that. Was it this maybe? I don't know. It's a YouTube link. Alright. Right. No problem, something. Kumath games, like, I would think. What's more difficult, you say Thampa or Crazy Taxi? Any of them? Well, what do you mean? To achieve what goal? To complete the game, or to just get the hang of the gameplay? I would say Thampa, probably. Although if you say to complete, as in to get the highest possible score to deliver everyone in Crazy Taxi, then probably Crazy Taxi. Like everyone on a single map, to get literally do every single job you can. Original one with removed. License stuff on Steam. 3 isn't, unfortunately. Yes. Really liking how it turned out. Spending some more text around 30. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yes, I know, time of day. Okay, should move for round 2. So with that, chat. That reminded. Oh, we still have chat. Not quite, damn it. Indeed, actually, round 3 if we're counting Thursday. Let's play for 15 minutes. What's more difficult? To play for 15 minutes, what's more difficult? You can't compare like that. Because in Thampa it's split into levels, and you could, like you can, even if you completed every single level in Thampa, you could easily play for 15 minutes, or you could fail every time and still play for 15 minutes. For example, in those boss fights in that game, if you don't succeed, it just throws the loop back at you, and throws the loop back at you, and throws the loop back at you, either until you lose the shield and then get hit, or until you succeed, in which case you can easily play for 15 minutes without making any progress. In Crazy Taxi, it's more difficult than that because you actually need to make good progress and play the game well to be able to play that long. So you can't really compare them like that, I think. That many customers... Anyway, yes. Bye-bye, good night. I really enjoyed OpenTTD. I'm looking forward to next Saturday's game and looking forward to Monday. And thank you all for being here, and good night. Bye-bye.